Hey, Sprawl Racer here, doing something a little different this season. I'm sure you guys have noticed I've been spending more time in the old Porsche Cup car. But what you don't see is the amount of effort that goes in behind the scenes, the hours of practice, and all that fun jazz. So I want to treat this series more like a vlog moving forward, where I kind of go in depth each week on what I'm doing, how I'm practicing, why I'm doing certain things, and kind of give a look behind the scenes. So it's not just, here's a race, have a nice day. I do take a lot of effort, or I do put a lot of effort into my races and trying to improve. And I kind of feel like everybody puts out race videos, but I want to kind of show behind the scenes because that's what I really enjoy doing. So this season, I'm going to treat this a lot more like a vlog. I'm going to have a lot more editing and really kind of show what's going on behind the scenes and what I'm focusing on for each race. I also want to focus on our Discord's new team, TeamSR. Check the links down below if you want to join the Discord. We have a section where we go over our Garage 61 data, and I'm going to show some of that in the video as I'm prepping each week. But I want to track all of our progress through the Porsche Cup Fix Championship this season. My personal goal is to run the full 8-week season and kind of see where I land so I know where to improve for next season. I have a few personal goals I want to keep track of as well. I'm going to get into that later on in the series. But yeah, let's jump right into it and get ready for Miami. I hope you are enjoying this and having a great day wherever you are. All right. Day one of testing this car has been highly frustrating. December 11th, did a handful of laps, I think 6 or 7, and track temp was 120, and I struggled to get up to speed. Looking at Garage 61, I have a lap pulled up that's in the 156s with similar temperatures from about a 6.5K iRacing driver, and I'm just losing time hand over fist in every sector. I am struggling with the car a little bit as far as my outlap. I feel very loose in the rear. I just don't feel comfortable at all. But I'm going to kind of study the data, check in with Discord, see how people are feeling, and hopefully we can get this figured out before week 1, because at this rate, this is going to go bad. All right, so just going to go over my data from day 1. This lap from Henry, 156.438, is what I'm referencing against my 2-minute flat. I mean, that's a huge 3.5 second delta. Sector 1, 2, I'm losing over a second in each sector, and I'm losing almost 0.8 of a second in sector 3. And biggest focus areas, I'm going to say is on track for a decent lap, but I feel like by lap 3 or 4 you should be able to get into the 56s. We might do one more lap. And we went in deep there, so yeah, no, head's not in the game here. Let's focus up, see if we can accomplish something here on lap 3.
Lap of the session.
Still feels a little, I gotta really study what to do in turn 2 there. But overall, that felt like a much better sector 1. Well, it did up until that point. So yeah, that felt a little sloppy but quick, if that makes any sense. Still achieved what I was looking for. It's kind of turning into turn 8. Like I braked a little early there, a little timid. So I basically want to rub the side of the car on the wall there. Carry speed through there, cut that as much as we can. That felt really good. That felt really good through there. I feel like this is going to be a really solid lap right now. So I'm accomplishing everything I want to. Wider sweep into turn 7, 8. We cut the chicane there, carried a lot of momentum. And I feel like I'm missing something there big time. Let's see what we got here across the line.
56.76, last position.
And I missed a turn there. But okay, I feel good. I feel good about that. We're accomplishing what we need to accomplish as far as hitting our marks. So yeah, we're going to go back and look at the data and take it from there. All right, we're going to do a little bit of data analysis here in Garage 61. This is just looking at Ian, myself, and Nico. Ian is, I think, a little over 3K iRating, and his best lap was 156.3. My best lap's a 156.8, and Nico's in the 158s. So this is just kind of looking at the team data and kind of what we're looking at to improve going into the week, based off of Ian. Going into turn 1 here, in fact, I'm going to turn my head off real quick. Let me turn the camera off. So down here, this chart here at the bottom, that's going to show you kind of like where you're gaining and losing time. Since Ian's the main lap, his line's consistent. Anywhere it goes down, we're gaining time on him. Anywhere it's going up, he's gaining time on us. And if you look, mine and Nico's lines are pretty similar. So like we both lose time to him there. You're losing time to him down the entire back stretch. Stays consistent with a little bit of time loss there. And then this is where kind of Nico loses a lot of time, which is that kind of final chicane section. And then actually Nico does gain time down the straight, where I'm pretty consistent with, or I'm going to say the second straight, with Ian. And then, but yeah, no, that kind of shows the whole lap there. So what I like to do is I like to kind of pinpoint spots. So just looking here into turn 1, I'm going to highlight that. So you can see here, I actually gain about 4/10 on Ian, and Nico's a little up on Ian there, but then Ian just is more consistent throughout turn 2 and 3. So just looking at this data, Ian is much harder into the brakes into turn 1. He's in the ABS, and so is Nico. They're at about 93% brake pressure. You can see Ian's the green line. Nico's at full 100% pressure there for a bit, and then it fades off. And in fact, I'm going to turn Ian's color off for a second. How do I do that? There we go. So that leaves purple. So yeah, Nico's in the ABS there. I'm the only one really not getting in the ABS, and I'm sitting around 70, and I kind of fade off. And I think that's why I actually gain time on Ian off the corner. So that works there. Where it kind of levels off is through turn 2, and this is where I've struggled. So this is something to kind of take note of there. It looks like I'm taking, based on this line here, Nico and myself are taking a wider arc. And then it looks like we're kind of straightening up turn 2 a little bit. But over here on the throttle map, Ian's back to full throttle much sooner on exit, and that's where he's gaining on us. So I would say Nico and Ian could probably use less brake pressure into turn 1. roll a little bit more speed. You can see on the blue line here, I'm carrying more speed, but Ian does get back to the throttle better. So I would say Nico's kind of fallen short on entry and exit, or I'm falling short on exit, and Ian's leaving a little time on entry. And I think that's just because they're in the ABS and I'm not. So I'm able to kind of slow down and rotate it a little bit better. But then Ian is doing a better job getting on the throttle on exit. Overall, I'm only 4,000ths off, or 400ths off of Ian. Nico's about 0.8 off of Ian in sector 1. And a good part of that is this section here. And that's going to be turns, I think, what's this, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking at that there, I'm going to say the biggest section is right. And I'm looking here at my throttle tracing. It looks like I get back to the throttle too soon. So you can see right through here, I'm dancing on the throttle on the blue line, where Ian kind of blips the throttle, but he stays off throttle until he's back to it. So Ian's just letting that car kind of rotate through. Looks like he's putting on just a tiny bit of brake pressure, and then he's getting a much better drive off the corner. And it does look, if we kind of zoom in here, he is taking a much wider arc. Nico's cutting in a ton here and scrubbing some speed, which I'm doing the same, but just not as aggressive. So my main focus is going to be kind of having a wider arc late in turn 8 and getting a straighter, faster run off the corner. But that's going to be kind of the breakdown of sector 1. Sector 3, we're all the same. So we're really going to kind of look at sector 2 next. And most of sector 2 is just this straightaway. And honestly, if you hit turn 8 right, this is going to solve itself. But where the big difference lies, and I'm going to kind of highlight it here. How do I do this? Right. I'm going to go right where that ramps up for Nico. All right. So it's going to be these corners here. So you get to the end of the straight, you stop, you turn, you're good. One thing Nico's doing is he's going down to first gear, which I guess, let me back up just a little bit here. In fact, let me go just a further back than that. Oh, cancel that. Cancel. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Okay. Full sector 2. Then I want to highlight that whole section there. Okay. So looking at gearing, it looks like Ian, and this is something I noted earlier in the week, Ian's staying in second gear through the hairpin at the end of the back stretch, and I need to work on that. I dropped down to first myself. So does Nico. Drops actually to first a little bit sooner. But I think Nico and I both need to focus on keeping it in second gear through there. And then Nico's staying in second, where Ian and I are getting up to third. And it looks like throttle through there looks similar for all of us. All that looks consistent, other than Ian's just rolling more speed. So if we look at this graph here, you can see it's more of a U shape, which Ian's just carrying more momentum, where Nico and I are getting to a point, stopping, and then speeding up again. But yeah, all through there, I think I need to keep in second gear and avoid first altogether, except for the final section right around here. But if you kind of look here, the biggest thing for Nico is this section right here, where you can see his line just ramps up. He goes from 1 second off to almost 1.9. So he's losing almost a second in that window right there. And I'm going to say the one thing I noticed checking Ian is how aggressive he is over that curbing. I've really increased my line, and that's what took me down from like a 57.2 to a 56.8, is attacking that curb. So really attacking that curb, and I'll do a track guide or a hot lap here in a moment, but focusing on that curb I think is going to be key. And then sector 3, we're all pretty equal there. There is some variation in the braking zone. Just I'll highlight just that little section there. Under heavy braking, where am I at here? It looks like Ian is getting to under 100% pressure, and we are all getting into a little bit of ABS. I'm definitely getting into the least amount of the ABS, and I'm just trying to see. So it looks like, and I always gotta remember who's who. Nico and my line look the most similar as far as the entry point. Ian is braking later and heavier, but like I said, he's in the ABS. So we all get into the ABS there for a moment. I would say I get out of the ABS before I downshift. Looks like it just blips on right at my shift points. But you know, Ian's putting a lot of pressure there, and that's where he is gaining on us a little bit. So I could probably lean on the ABS a little bit more under the heavy braking, but I think we all do a great job of getting off the pedal. Except for I have just a little bit of a bump there late. So not sure what I did there to cause that little bit of a jut. But overall, I feel very consistent in Sector 3. We're all very close in Sector 3. So it's really just looking at the entire, or let's go back to Sector 1. Real focus is going to be turn 7 and 8. Turn 1, turn 7 and 8. And then this whole Mickey Mouse section up through there. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for practice. I feel very good with where I'm at. I feel like there's definitely time to be had. But overall, I feel like I've come a long way since my first time driving the car. And I think we're in a good spot to just log laps, get consistent, clean up little details, and be ready for week 1. So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's the JKR. Or JKR, sorry, Justin. This is mostly people from Justin's Discord too. The TeamSR data review, going into all that, and let's see what we can accomplish this week. Hey, Sprawl Racer here. Just wrapping up this video. I just finished touching up the last of the edits. In fact, I just gotta tag this on to the end. But I just want to thank you guys for watching if you made it through. If you want to join our Discord to join TeamSR, the link will be in the description below. I think I left Chad's data out of the analysis because him and Nico were so close, and I didn't want to flood it too much. If there's anything I could do to make this better, just let me know. This is my first time kind of trying to do something of this nature, and I want to treat this season more of a vlog on performance and what I'm doing each week to get better and perform. So there's just more context for when I actually upload the races. So yeah, just let me know if there's anything I can do to make these better. If there's anything extra you want to see. And thank you for watching if you've watched this first one. I think this will be a fun challenge this season. And I checked out the numbers. I will kind of go into all of that into the next video. As far as it looks like I'm Division 3, where I was last season, and kind of what I need to do to either win the championship, finish top 10, or make the top 25 and make that first page of my division. So yeah, no, I think week 1, I wanted to get Miami out of the way, make sure this works, this style of video and editing, and the race goes good. And I just want to kind of get all this done and wrapped up for week 1 so that I could really focus extra on Spa for week 2. I feel like that's going to be the true test. I think Miami being a new track, not everyone's going to be fully comfortable at that track, although I feel like the level I'm at, most people will be prepared. But Spa, I think, is where we're really going to see some true competition. So, again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, like the video. If there's anything I could do better, just let me know down in the comments. And subscribe to follow along with this journey. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.